Well, first up today is this cammed FN2 Civic Type R. Look at Johnny's name on the side of that. I bet he's well proud. Yeah, we're going to get this tuned on the Ecutek software, see what we make out of it. It's got some mods, we'll list them at the end. So stick around and let's get cracking. Right, it's half past 6 on a Friday, and it is April Fool's Day, and I feel a bit like April Fool's today. I've had to get my hands dirty today, and I don't like it. I've had to clean up 5 litres of engine oil off the floor, and that wasn't easy. It was in the dyno. It was under the dyno. I had to move the dyno. I had to go through a bag of rags. I had to wash my hands. It wasn't for me. This car, and Richard will tell you, whilst it is an amazing car, it's the hardest we've ever worked for a car that was booked in for a map. Would you agree, Richard?
Oh, absolutely. It has been a pig from day one.
The hardest we've ever worked for a map.
I mean, basically, the car came in, he started it up and drove it off the trail, and I was like, that don't sound like a car that's ready to map for me. So I asked the question, what have you got in there? He says, I've got cams, I've got injectors, I've got this, I've got that, the other. So fair enough. So we thought, okay, maybe that's the case, but wouldn't necessarily be that problem. We've seen these cars with these set up with these cams, injectors, so on and so forth, 1,000 times. So it's not a problem. So I said, right, okay, before we do anything else, then we drive the car in and chokes it up any more than it already is. We'll quickly go and grab the laptop. I'll chuck a file on for the injectors and the cams and everything, which will get us, within the ballpark.
Get us started and drive it in.
Dead close, and we'll be able to drive it in. Puts a file in, it's still running sick as a pig. So we put it on the dyno. In fairness, we spent the 3-hour mapping slot trying to find faults. We knew we got an air leak, the revs were up. Basically, I think, unfortunately, this guy's been scammed. Unfortunately, he has. He bought a skunk 2 inlet manifold, which was a skunk 2 inlet.
You've deemed it as a copy.
It's a copy. It's a fact, it's a copy, 100%. They normally have a dual texture to them. This is shiny.
Like a matte black, ain't it?
Yeah, like a matte black. This is shiny. It had 2 holes under the inlet manifold.
To me, this looks like a painted M2 inlet manifold.
Yeah, but it isn't an M2. This isn't even an M2 because it had the 2 holes underneath, which the M2 doesn't have. I had to weld up. The standard throttle body does not fit to this inlet manifold, which is the strangest thing in the world. So I don't know what this inlet manifold's for, but it must be for an FN2 because obviously it has the waterway on it. But at the same time, the standard throttle body doesn't fit.
Maybe SD2s?
Yeah.
Something not right.
Something not right here. So then obviously it's got a spacer plate and then the things that had a bigger throttle body, had loads of things going on. Anyway, it turns out that all the work's been done from Honda main dealer. So the cams, the oil pump, the FD2 oil pump, the cams, the inlet manifold, so on and so forth.
The hybrid racing induction kit.
Hybrid racing induction kit. So they fitted it and left 2 holes in the inlet manifold. Well, obviously it's going to have high revs and leak and be a pain then and so on and so forth. So we did spend the 3 hours trying to get the vehicle running right to then get it running. We was pulling injectors out and found out that there were copy injectors to go with his copy inlet manifold. Unfortunately, this man has bought parts believing that they were genuine Honda genuine parts as in Skunk 2 and the Honda injectors and so on, the 410cc's and they weren't. They were all fakes. So anyway, at that point we asked the customer, you're gonna have to leave the car with us because obviously we've gone for a 3-hour mapping slot and obviously we've not got anywhere. This needs more time spending on it. So I literally had a full day. I went back through everything that was done. I checked the timing, the actual chain timing itself. I made sure the cams were installed correctly. I did the valve clearances, which they hadn't done. You know, they were slapping around and sounded like a bag of spanners on the top end. They hadn't even set the valve clearances, so I went through that and did that. Deemed that it had a non-genuine MAF sensor on it. Took the inlet manifold back off and welded all the holes up, welded the hole up in the spacer plate, put the standard throttle body back on, as we know that the bigger ones just don't make more power.
No.
But they are generally better with the stock throttle body, and you don't get the ridiculous rev hang that you get, so we put that back to stock. So on and so forth. This was all going well. Anyway, one day I says to Dad, jump in the car, go and take it outside, will you? So he drives it outside and the air filter falls off. So Dan, not knowing to him, not on purpose, obviously drives over the air filter. They couldn't even tighten the air filter up properly in the wheel arch, which is just beyond me. So anyway, that's the sort of level of work that we were obviously dealing with. So we've gone through everything, belt and braces, gone through it, sorted everything out, put a genuine O2 sensor, first O2 sensor in it, genuine MAF sensor back in it. Got it all up and running this morning.
Fired it up,
thought, right, got it running. We've got it on 550cc injectors, which I didn't necessarily want to do. I wanted to stick with the RDX or go back to standard. Anyway, we went to put it on the dyno. I pulled it up onto the dyno. It's literally ticking over, get some smoke, turn it straight off. Obviously, there's something not quite right. To go as well with the job that they've done, they've put an oil relocation kit on it with an oil cooler on the front.
This is Honda main dealer?
Honda main dealer again. It physically blown the hose off. So then at that point, it's literally the contents of the oil pan is then all over the dyno and all over the floor, which pretty much left Dan in a bad mood. So we pushed the dyno literally back and out of the way. And he
2.5 hours.
He spent 2.5 hours cleaning that mess up.
On my knees?
Yeah, on his knees, whilst I carried on obviously fixing that oil problem, put it back onto standard injectors, or his standard injectors, which he sent us in the post. Then it's only running on 2 cylinders. So I've had another set that I've got here from another manifold that's been left over from a job or whatever. I've fitted those injectors, got it running back on 4 cylinders, got it all running properly at this point. So we put the dyno back, we put it back on the dyno, we do a few pulls. It's only making 210 brake. It's still a little bit of tuning to do, but not miles away from where you would certainly expect it to be. But at 210 brake with cams fitted, it's like, no one's going to be happy with that. That's definitely not right. There's something wrong. Disconnect the back box, instantly made 20 horsepower.
Have a look inside that back box.
Yeah, a look inside that back box, and it's around, obviously, 2.5 inches it goes in. It literally narrows down. If you imagine like the end of your Hoover,
like a Dyson.
Yeah, like the end of your end of your Hoover pipe that you get. It literally narrowed down like that. It was literally 5 mil wide by like 50 mil long.
I'll add that photo at the end.
Yeah, so he'll add that photo at the end. Ultimately, that's what was costing us the power. Customer had that back box fitted, saying it was a DB killer and it would obviously reduce sound. Well, yeah, it does, and it also reduces power. So we've then fitted the customer a Tegu 70 mil exhaust,
which is no louder, sounds amazing, and has made some power.
Yeah, and has made some power. And finally today, after probably 2 days worth of workshop work and a mapping slot that it didn't make, and now it's mapping slot today, it's finished on 232 brake.
Sounds great, goes well.
Sounds great, goes well, does everything it's supposed to, but unfortunately,
as the customer says, it's no longer an expensive paperweight. He's extremely happy. So
it's just we have put some hours in to get to this point, haven't we? And unfortunately, it's been some shoddy work that's cost this customer again, because obviously no doubt he's paid once and now he's facing a bill to cover it again. But that's the way it is. We've done our job, we've fixed it, and we've got him the power that he wanted. So I'm happy with that.
I'm tired though.
Should we have a look at the graph?
Yes, let's go look at the graph. So there we go. That is the graph. I've really not got much more to say about it, other than it does sound incredible and it goes really well. And we finished today on 232.3 brake horsepower. So thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, guys. It is April Fool's Day and I do feel tired. So yeah, like and subscribe and all that jazz. And we'll see you on the next one. Won't we, Rich? We will indeed.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast.
Get some
sand. That's not as bad as I thought it was. It's only gone forward, not backwards.
Yeah, but will it have gone in the...
Okay. Well, that's an oil leak. That's like all of the oil. Oh my good lord.
Yeah, clean up bill soon coming.
Oh dear. Oh dear.